All right, so I'm looking at my the framing CAD sheets that I got from Arctic Fox. They sent me three. This would be as if you're looking at the walls from the inside of the camper. Just that's the way they send it. Uh, so this is the aluminum framing. It's actually kind of like a wide gap there. I thought maybe they would have had one in between there somewhere, but you know, I know the sidewalls are very thick too. So, and that's the propane cutout. I will be adding right in about here. The second one they sent me is the framing, and this is the strapping for like hanging cabinets. So the strapping is installed on the inside, and there's a piece right across about the top of the propane tank that I don't necessarily want to cut through all of that. I'd really like just to kind of leave it there. I know it's just for hanging the cabinets. I mean, I don't think it really gives any structural strength, but probably gives it just a little bit of you know, rigidness there. So and there's also, I could feel up in there from the electrical hole, the little door, and I could feel some wires fishing through right there as well. So just got to be careful with cutting that out. And then the third one, this is the actual showing the cutouts of the you know, all the ports, all the openings. So, you know, like that there, that's the electrical box where you coil the cord up in, and that's, you know, there's a cavity in there. Down here it's just showing like the satellite and all that stuff, the battery box, the windows. So yeah, they they sent that to me no problem, and it's actually nice to have. I'm sure not all manufacturers do that. So I marked off some measurements on the side of the camper, so we'll go take a look at that. Also, I got the smart plug installed last night. I'm not doing a video on that. There's a bunch of videos online. This thing is very nice. Pretty simple to install. Good instructional videos from a guy named Charles Cushane, who's the truck camper guy and pretty electrically savvy and stuff. So he does a pretty good demonstration on installing that. But inside here, because this is where you coil the cord up inside, and so I just drilled my hole down here. There's the cord, and then I just, you know, cut the length, fished it through the hole. I wanted to get this a little bit lower, but there's actually like a little bit of a shelf down here, because in the side here there's framing. They did some wood framing on each side, and it was to encapsulate this area for coiling the cord up in there. So I just kept it above the little shelf. I probably could have gotten it down and just fished the wire down through, but the other side I just wanted to try to keep, like, because once I have this cut out, I'll have some access to the wires, and if I ever have to get in there and be able to reach in my new access door, you know. So I just didn't want to hide too much with that, just in case, you know, it ever needed fixed. Smart plug doesn't come with screws for the thing, because they're sold as kind of like a replacement kit to this twist and lock style. So I just used deck screws. I actually want to get this a little tighter. This side didn't get in as tight as I wanted. I'm gonna, once I get this hole cut out, I'm gonna add some little pieces of blocking, or maybe I'll even just switch to like a long, you know, nut and bolt setup or something like that. But it's actually good. It's nice and tight. It just didn't get drawn back as tight as I wanted on the top two screws. So I'll be addressing that a little later. But anyway, so I drew a line up here, and that's about the bottom of the strapping. And then the lines I drew down the side here, that's the inside edge of the wood framing. So that's just going to help me align my cardboard template that I made from my baggage door, and that way I can get everything kind of divvied up. If I'm over the line, it doesn't matter because it's just like some wood framing in there that they did, I think, to just encapsulate this cavity to the back of the sidewall. So but yeah, so get that cut open, check everything out, and I'll be removing that guy up there. I got a new one of those, so I think I'm going to start cutting in this today. It looks like the weather's going to hold, because I'm going to have to squirt my foam gun glue all inside this sidewall and then figure out a way to clamp it up. So once I get this hole cut out and get that removed, I'm going to have to figure out a clamping setup that's going to work before I proceed to do anything. So yep, go from there. And here's my baggage door. The general size opening for this is tagged as a 10 by 18. It's a pretty nice little door. It's a Rec Pro, which is basically just repackaged Lippert crap. The door thickness is 3/4 inch. I would have rather have gotten one with a 1 inch thickness. Arctic Fox did tell me the company that makes theirs, and I was going to go through trying to contact them and stuff like that, but I wanted to get going on this, and I knew I could just get one of these and get it pretty quick and, you know, cut out some BS. So, and then there's my new vent cover, nice and white. And then I bought a 2-pack of these lights for the outside. So there's one up above the vent hood on the camper, and I just bought a 2-pack because there's one up at the top of the ladder there, and that's all yellow. So I'll eventually, you know, get to replacing that one too, just so it's new. I mean, the 2-pack was like cheaper than just buying a single, so got an extra. Oh yeah. And here's my template on the side of the camper. It actually will be up into around where that strapping is, because right here at the bottom, I still got to be a little bit above that lip for the collar of the you know, the outside lip of the thing, because this is the inside template. So yeah, it'll be up into the strapping, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I'm going to lose some of my you know, Silver Fox Edition graphics, but I don't really care. So but yeah, that's where we're at. It's a little bigger. I could have went for a little smaller door, but I just want some room to get in there and store, you know, electrical cords and this and that and the other. So it is what it is. If I cut through the whole strapping, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. And with the wood in here, I could always add a piece of wood across the top just to try to strengthen things up. So you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. But so yeah, I'm going to get to taking these 2 things off here, the vent hood and then that, and then see where we're at next. Up on the ladder and got the vent cover out. Actually, I grabbed onto a piece of it. It just broke apart. It's so brittle. Look at that. Look at the oversized hole. Bill, you were right. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's like an inch larger on the bottom, like half, like quarter on this side, half to 5/8 bigger on that side. And so as soon as that caulk seal broke, it just, like, water just got down in there. They could have done a better job with that. They could have done a better, I mean, I think that he did tell me, I think that Arctic Fox corrected the problem, but I mean, they could have even installed maybe like some flashing or something. So maybe I can figure something out there, or at least maybe put some like foil tape. I'll probably pump this whole cavity full of foam when I put the new piece on. But yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, but whatever, onward. All right, up on a ladder, I got the light installed. I had a different hole pattern. So the old holes from the screws, I filled all those with silicone, screwed in the new. I caulked around the edge. I used OSI Max, which is much better than the RV caulk. It's not as sticky. Some of that I just couldn't get off. But you can see right in the middle there at the bottom, I left a little crack open. That way if water does somehow seep in, you know, it'll have a run out point. So right now I'm just, and then I siliconed in my screw holes as well. But like I was saying, like if water, if it were ever to get in, like say seep through somewhere, I'll have a drip point. So yeah, right now I'm just deciding, this is the side of the camper. I don't really ever use this light. The old one had a switch. I see no point in that because you can't reach it, especially when it's on the truck, unless if you used your awning pole, your awning stick. But should I go with the clear or the orange? I'm almost leaning towards the orange just because if there's times I do have it on, I just don't want it to be too aggressive. It's like you don't really need too much light, you know, when you're walking around side of the camper, or like if you're in a campground, something like that. But so let me know, white or orange. Now there's the opening, although this is going to be cut bigger, but yeah, definitely got a little bit of Luan rottage, so, but we'll see what happens. There's the hole. Made out with the marker a little higher than what I wanted, but you know, it is what it is. So get ready to cut this out. So we had some kind of like little rotted up Luan. The Luan that was against the foam was actually stuck really good, but here, and I noticed this when I drilled my hole for the electrical plug, that there was like some missing foamage in there. And so I don't know if that's the way it was, like if that was, maybe they got some chemical on it in the factory or something, or if this is some kind of buggage, because there's like a little track right here, you know. I don't know. Well, these are the holes for the screws here and there, but like here and like here, so I don't know, maybe it's like some, but I don't know what kind of bugs would eat through foam like that. And typically this whole thing's plywood. The wood on the inside looks pretty decent, so it's not like a termite chewed it up. So I kind of wonder if maybe they got some chemical on here and it started eating it away, melting it away. I don't know, but I mean, I guess if it's hollow, you just cut it open and put a storage door. But I'll be able to get my foam guns in there so much. I got to see how I'm gonna have to do this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to squirt foam, you know, and get it the whole way over into here. We'll see. My gun's 2 foot long, but I have to see how far I can get it wedged in there and move it around without like really like, you know, pulling this apart. I don't want to damage anything, so we'll see what happens. But there's our hole, and it just says Silver Fox. Maybe I can get the stickers off my cutout and add them in my storage bin door, and it'll look like a pro. It'll be like a pro sticker job like they do from the factory, but probably not, because it is what it is. But that's where we're at now. So the best way to cut this foam out is just I cut sections out. You got to do it with your multi-tool. But like when I cut through, my jigsaw blade wasn't long enough to get through the back, which I actually liked, because then I can get all this foam out, and then I can come back through with my multi-tool blade and get a nice cut, and you know, not not damaging any, wood or framing here on the inside. So I think that'll work out pretty good. But yeah, so there's more of this. Oh, there's a screw right there. I'll have to get that. That's from that piece of wood there. So I'll have to get that out, or just cut back. That won't interfere with the new door. But you can see more of this. It looks like it's like melded. I don't know. I think maybe they got some chemical on this, but I'll go through with my foam guns, and before I'm putting the door back on, I'll be filling down here in the bottom. I'll fill that in real good because there's really not much in there. So so that's where we're at. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I wonder if they spilled something on there. But so this is what an Arctic fox could look like on the inside. But so let me keep getting this foam out. Hey Glenna, just wanted to send you a message real quick. So I know you and Bill have been married a long time. I'm really stressed out here, and this is stuff that Bill should have been doing, but I think he just got a little bit too old to do these kind of fixes on the camper. So if you could just go ahead and just give him a swat. Just swat him in the arm or upside the head, just give a good old smack from Todd. Okay, so we got the foam out. That's your strap. This is actually not doing anything. There's no, I was thinking maybe the straps were going to be a little thicker. Right here, there is a piece of wood in behind there, a piece of blocking. There's some screws going through right here. This is like around where the stove's at. So I'm sure that this blocking piece is probably for like mounting the countertops in there. I'm almost 100% positive that's what it's for, but I'm just gonna cut these out. As for the blocking across here, I'll cut that out. I'll cut the luan out first. I'll see how it looks. Don't know if I'll just cut the blocking off or just leave that piece across there. There's ways I can brace that. So, if there's a little something or other blocking the opening, at least I have still a nice, I can tuck like my cords up in behind where that blocking's at. So if it's in the way, if I decide not to remove it, probably won't matter too much. But so moving on. Yeah, when you're like 3/4 of an inch too high. So I got it out. That's the metal I was feeling. I was thinking that was the strap. That's just the angle bracket for the countertop. This is the countertop right here, and that's my freaking backsplash. So now I got a hole in the back of my stove. So looks like I'm going to be doing a backsplash now. Oh yeah, awesome. Good thing I do tile work. And now we're inside the camper. Yeah, baby. Nice big hole in the wall right behind the stove. So looks like I'm going to be doing something there. Okay, so back to the outside. So basically what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get that screw the rest of the way out, that screw out, and I'm going to get that screw pulled through or just cut flat. And from here, from this wood to the top, I'm just going to cut in a board that'll come down to here. I still have a little bit, like cords can still fit up inside of there. But so this is kind of tight. I can tighten this up a little bit if I want to. This is just a panel that's blocking the very back of the stove. So that's all that is. But I'll just get a board here, and I might even be able to do like a maybe get a couple little hangers or something. I might be able to find something I can just kind of hang from there, you know, once I get a little piece of board on there. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do from there. And then I always have tile left over from jobs, so maybe I'll tile something on, or just with all the movement, you don't really want to set real tile in a camper like that with mortar. So I don't know. And I could even do the cheap route and get some of the stick-on tiles. I can make those look good too. But yeah, so we'll see. You know, I probably should have got a shorter door, but if I would have been wanting to lower this down to here, I probably could have like just made it. But it is what it is. You know, when you're getting into these jobs, you just don't know exactly how stuff's gonna fall, so you just got to make do. But if you have an older style Arctic Fox and you're planning on maybe doing something like this, just go for like a, I think they have like a 10 by 16 or just like a 12 by 12 storage door. I probably should have just went for like a 12 by 12, but yeah, it is what it is. I wanted to have the higher one. That's the thing, is I wanted to have the higher one so that I had the room to get my guns up in here and have room, you know, for my hand to be working down, you know, pumping the foam in through the walls. So that's really the reason why I went for the big door, the bigger door, and it kind of burnt me a little bit. But yeah, it's camper, you know. It's like a boat. Bust out another 1,000. All right, so there's the mock-up. I'm just holding it in place. I'm not gonna have much room, you know, from the board to the inside of the door. You know, I don't know. I might be able to have a little something on there, like a little hook, and if not, it doesn't matter. I mean, I still have, let me flip my camera. Still have a good amount of space, and then can still coil up cords that'll fit up in that little cavity there. So get this guy off. I got that board in there. I have it urethaned to the existing framing and to the countertop, and so got that screwed in, so that thing's going to be solid. So yeah, that side of it's all good. And it actually had pulled this right side tight. So yeah, before I mount the door, that little crack in there, I'll probably fill a bunch of that up with foam, you know, just to insulate things a little better. So we're getting there. But that's the general mock-up. I just did a little bit of trimming around the top of the door. I just did a piece of 1/2 inch plywood in there. I just wanted something a little stronger to glue into place and hold everything in there good. Piece of Luan probably would have been okay, but if there is ever any other leaks, you know, coming down from the top, which I hope there isn't, at least I'll have a nice piece of solid 1/2 inch plywood in there and not, you know, Luan. So, and then whenever I fix that and do that from the backsplash side of the stove, I'll pump that little crack there full of, I'm going to pump it full of urethane on each side just to seal her up good. So that's where we're at. Well, here's my newer foam gun I just got. This is a 2-foot one. This is going to be a rough fit getting it in here with the, you know, with the can on. So right now I have it pushed through. It's sitting about right up here. This is going to be tough to do. And then I have my smaller foam guns. So the plan was to be able to use the big one in through this bigger cutout, and I can get it shimmied around, you know, down the side and up and around. And then I'm thinking I might be able to get my smaller one in from the top and squirt it down and you know, maybe over that way a little bit. So You know, the thing is here, it's like I don't know how good I'm gonna get it because the Luan is a little, it's a little rotted. I mean, here it's loose probably from cutting it, but it's not the best. It's not the best shape, so I'm not pulling this whole side off. So I mean, really, all I can do is just squirt as much as the construction adhesive in there as I can, and just clamp it down. And you know, I'm just gonna get it as good as I can, and you know, just see how it works, see how it holds up. I figure something's better than nothing, but that's why the delamination was more like a bubble area up around the top, and then it did start traveling down this way. And I just think from just over time, there might have been some other little bit of seepage coming in through there from something. That hole cut out for that vent is horrible. That is way too big. And I know that was the root cause of the problem. But anyway, you know, I'm just gonna make it as best I can and just go from there. So next I got to figure out how I'm gonna clamp this down. I'm probably gonna try to get some kind of a board, and then I don't know if I'll have to like strap it from side to side to get the clamping pressure. I mean, I have some bigger spring clamps that I can clamp into here to maybe hold a board. So I got to figure that part out, because this is gonna suck. I mean, once I get all that glue, or the foam glue, you know, sprayed in there, I got to work quick to clamp it down. So just gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna go about doing it. So we'll see. Now there's what we got. I had to call in a friend of mine. He came after work. I blue taped the whole side so I didn't get any foam glue on it and mess up the fiberglass. Ran a strap. So basically we just had a big board, and we ran a strap from the window to the tie down point, and then there's a strap at the top of the ladder that goes clear across the top over to the cargo rail. And then we just basically, so I got in there and I ran a whole crap ton of foam in there, and this board was actually warped, this, you know, inwards, so that when we clamped it, we got pretty good pressure there. So we finagled with this for a while though. So and we just got to the point where we just kind of left it. So we'll see what happens. It's pretty tight. It's holding down pretty good. So, you know, I mean, is it 100%? Maybe not. You know, if it's 90 or 95% good, you know, I'll call it a day. But, you know, so that's where I'm at. So we'll just leave this sit. That's just gonna sit overnight. So, but yep. So that was how we did it. I had a couple other things in mind to try, and nothing was just working out good. So nice tall ladder up against the side there, and just strap her down. I was not as happy with the long foam gun that I had just got. The flow rate was not nearly as fast. Now, my short ones, that's all the Great Stuff brand, and for the long one, they have a 3-foot tip, and that was like $130. And I saw the longer one I got is another brand. It's like AWF, and I don't know if it's the gun or if it's just the longer tip, because maybe you just can't get as much pressure running through that long tip. But the flow rate wasn't as good, but I was able to get it in back to the edges. Like basically what I would do is I jam my gun in, my long gun, and try to get it to the outer edges of where the delamination is kind of stopping. and I'd try to like squirt it in there. And then so I had the fiberglass opened up because the tip was in there, and then I would run my shorter gun in through the access I cut out, and I would just blow it all in there. So I got a bunch blown in there, so I'm hoping it'll be decent, better than what it was. Um, so yeah, we'll see. But for the backsplash, I might get some of that like stack stone that you don't have to grout, and I can mortar that up to the wall, or else I'm just going to get the peel and stick, like the stick on tiles, and I will hate my life for doing that because I'm like a real tile setter. But I'm going to have to do something there to fix that up on the inside, so it is what it is. And so there's the inside again. You can see got my board in there. There's some glue squeeze out. So I'll probably cut that back a while, but I'll take this clear little backsplash off. Maybe I'll just get some stick on tile. I'll have to cut back that trim there, that like trim that's like against the wall. So yeah, we'll get something on there, but not too bad. I mean, it could have been worse, but you know, I wish all the clearances would have worked out a little better and I wouldn't be screwing around with this, but you know, I'll figure something out for a backsplash. So I might even be able to come up with some like that shower material, like swan stone, or like some corian or something like that. So we'll see. So here's the inside, and then here's there's a little bit of water staining. The Luan is more like stained. It's not mold. It is a little ratty, because like right here is where I cut. So, you know, kind of a good thing I found this. Like, I'm not going to go overkill on this. Like I said, it's not really mold. It just like from some of that leaking and the delamination, it just kind of like watered up the Luan and just had a little bit of water damage here. So it's not that there was a little thin layer at spots that just kind of peeled right off. So what I'll do is I'm gonna take out this bottom trim. I might get some 22 pieces of like 24 by 24 tile, and I'll cut that up, and then because I'm just going to urethane them up. You don't want a thin set on top of that. That'll just crack and break. So I'll use urethane, but in the meantime I'll just spooge on some urethane here and just trowel it out with a putty knife and get that opening there fixed up. So I'm not getting too wacko here. Like I said, no mold. I don't see any, like, in the camera it looks like a little darker, but when you're actually looking at it, it's more just like the old old waterlogged Luan. So not bad, but I'll just do some tile or something on top. I might be able to score a piece of swan stone, so we'll see what happens. But that's where we're at. So we'll have a nice big hunk of something there to cover that all up.